What's going on? You are the judge. You Are the Judge Season 2 has been released. The brand new update that came out a few days ago says, hello, Your Honor. We hope you've had enough fun in the first season. It's time for Season 2. In our opinion, things are starting to get a bit messy in Kobardde. This update also includes various content and bug fixes as well. So yeah, welcome to Season 2 of the update. I guess things are going to get messy, things are going to get weird, maybe, possibly, I don't know. I'm just excited to be back to see more of what they have to offer for us. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best judge there ever was, but I think I'm a reasonable one, if anything. Possibly, I don't know. Good to see everybody. Hello on this Sunday, right? Sunday, absolutely. Hope you are all well. Yes, how are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in everybody. Welcome in. By the way, I want to say thank you to Lady Phoenix for becoming a member, and thank you Jack Hunter for becoming a member as well. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. And also big shout out. Hello, how you doing, Maya J? Hello, Malachi. Hello, Bearded Dad Gaming. Hello, Susie T. Welcome in. Hello, Care Bear. Welcome in. Good to see you. Hello, Lissy. Keisha, how are you? Welcome in. Yes, yes, yes. Are you guys ready for some more judging action? Hello, Amanda. How are you as well? Yes. Hello, Shay, Glory Stars, Diamond Cat. Very well. Good to see you. Hello, Jupiter. How are you? Hello, Casey Michelle. Yes, yes, yes. Will you be playing King of Retail 2 when it releases? Okay, time out. What are you talking about? There's a King of Retail 2 coming out. Has it been announced? If there's a King of Retail 2, then yes, but I have not heard of anything other than just rumblings of rumors. It's in development? Well, in that case, yes, definitely will. Absolutely. Good to see you. Welcome in, Dark Rubies. How are you? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, all. Hello, Elena. How are you? Just Elena. Hello, Pat Johnson. Welcome in. Hello, Masumi. Good to see you. Welcome in. Hello, Rob. Did you play King of Retail on this channel? Oh, absolutely. I hope you know, you definitely do know that, right? I hope so. It's actually, in case people didn't know, King of Retail Season 2 on my channel is the longest, one of the longest series I have, with over 150 episodes. So yeah, if you enjoy retail simulation type games, King of Retail Season 2, in case you didn't know, check that out for sure. Welcome in, Crystal Lee. Good to see you. Digger Payne, how are you? Good to see you. Hello, hello, Carrie. How are you? How's Bella? Bella is doing good. She's right next to me, laying down, sleeping right now. She's resting for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Okay, yeah. So today, Season 2. It's gonna get messy. Let's see. Let me continue for sure. Oh my god, wait, Season 2, Season 3? Season 3 to be announced. Okay, Season 2. Eric Martle versus Larissa Band. A libel? Wait. A libel case. What is a libel case? By the way, this is called Season 2. Things are starting to get ugly. I don't know what a libel case is. Like a liable? Like liable? Like liability? I'm assuming. I'm taking a little bit of a peek here. I know. Taking a little bit of a peek. Oh, there seems to be a lot of different scenarios going on here. Oh my goodness. Very well. Very well. Wow. There's a lot of different looking scenarios here. This is pretty cool. Okay. Yeah. All right. Very well. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Hello, Minja. How are you? Good to see you. I guess liability case is the first thing we're going into. Lies, false statement. Is that what libel means? Here we go. Jump into it. Hello, Kayla. How are you, Kayla? Jenny. Hello, Jenny. People talking ish about someone's business and financially hurting the business is often lumped in with slander. That's true, right? Slander. Should I answer the phone? Hello? Journalist says, hello, sir. I am the editor-in-chief of Kobardde. Kobardde Times newspaper. How are you? I think I'm good. Thank you. I'm doing well. I apologize for bothering you, sir. Is it possible to provide some information about the ongoing case here? I'm surprised you're asking that. We thought there might be some information in the file related to Eric Martle's betrayal in a case that's in the public eye. I cannot share any information regarding the file with you. Please don't misunderstand. I was just hoping for some content on a case that's in public eye, but it seems that's not possible. Since I am the judge, I don't know if I want to give anybody anything. No leverage, no anything. Please don't contact me again on this matter. Legal cases are conducted with privacy. Maybe I can assist you with another case, or it wouldn't be appropriate to provide information about legal cases, but we could discuss another topic. Only time will tell what the future holds. Best wishes. Interesting. Very interesting. Today is the 13th, apparently. Yeah, so I guess we can listen to the pre-trial right away and jump into it. Yeah, pre-trial. Are you sure you want to go? You know what? I don't. I don't. Oh crap, what was my password? That's what it was. I thought that said satire. I mean, really, they also made some improvements here with this new update and new season. They made some improvements with the social media. Why do I have 666 followers? They made some celebrity couple back in court once again. Wait, what? Who? What is happening? Did I just send that? Like the tweet because I'm a judge? They did some adjustments with the social media. I read in the patch notes as well. They do have the news outlets and things like this. I have been actually kind of oh shit, wait, what? Famous couples defamation case is being heard today. The couple who recently made headlines with their divorce case are now facing a defamation lawsuit in the case, which is also considered by some segments a society as a domestic violence case. The plaintiff Eric Martle alleges that his former spouse wrote defamatory articles about him. Martle had previously stated in interviews that these articles were intended to harm his career. Do you see what I see? Is this the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case? Thank you, Savvy Tech, for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I hope you're well. Larissa Band, on the other hand, never directly responded to this or to his statements, but rather indirectly discussed these allegations without naming names in various writings. It is also known that Band has been receiving psychiatric treatment for some time. The events between the famous couple have been a hot topic on social media for a long time, and efforts are being made to broadcast the court proceedings live. Very well. Pre-trial it is. Give it to me. This is the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case for sure. Okay, I remember Johnny Depp having a very spicy attorney. That's all I took from the case. Plaintiff Ethan Johnson. My client is globally beloved and highly followed actor. It is clearly evident that the article written by his ex-spouse Larissa Band in a magazine, even though it does not mention my client by name, is referring to him. This situation has greatly harmed my client's career. Therefore, we are requesting $20 million in compensation. Very well. This is the defendant's lawyer. In the article my client wrote for the magazine, she was referring to the plaintiff. However, she did not mention his name to protect herself. Wait a sec. In real life, was it Amber Heard? Was Amber Heard going after Johnny Depp, or was it the other way around? Yeah. I don't remember. In the article my client wrote for the magazine referring, okay, right. Additionally, my client claims that she suffered the most in the relationship. Therefore, we deny these allegations. It was Johnny Depp after Amber Heard. Was that the way it was? He was going at her. Okay, very well. My client has no objection. Go to case. Very well. All right, let's continue. Oh God, they even kind of look like, right? I don't know. All right, give me that. What is that? Your relationship with the Supreme Court will decrease by 5 points. Thanks, appreciate that. Okie dokie. Hello, Jim. How are you? Welcome in. The lawsuit is now about to begin. We will listen to the plaintiff. Step 1: listen to the plaintiff. Actually, let's look into the law real quick on this. So Article 961, a person or persons who obstruct the freedom of thought and expression of individuals or who oppose the freedom of communication shall be sentenced to imprisonment for a term of 2 to 10 years or a fine up to $650,000. What the heck? The penalty may be increased in proportion to the scope and the nature of the committed offense. Jesus. Okay. 2 to 10 years in prison? Right. Okay. Plaintiff. Behavior is respectful, calm, and neat. Defendant. Respectful, excited, and neat. Right. All right. What do we have in the case file here? About the case, the famous couple who ended their marriage in the past have filed a lawsuit due to defamation case. Eric Martle has filed a lawsuit against his former spouse for the statements made against him in an article written by Larissa Band. He claims that the unfounded allegations in the article written by Larissa Band have had a detrimental impact on his acting career. What we have here is the plaintiff and the defendant. We have two psychologists, Rose and Carl, and then a family therapist with Lena. We have evidence of a voice recording, and we have evidence of a magazine. Interesting. Hello, Christina. How are you? Welcome in. Hello, Jana. Jana, how are you? Jana Soul, finally caught a stream. Good to see you. Welcome in. Hopefully I said your name correctly. If not, you can definitely correct me. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll listen to the plaintiff and see what they have to say here. So, Eric, come on up to the stand, I guess, and hit me with what you got. Do you use drugs? Wow. Did you use drugs with Larissa while you were with Larissa? So, name is Eric. Criminal record. Yes, he does have a criminal record. He has been arrested before for drugs in the past. Right. Okay. He served 3 months, I guess. Okay. Very well. He's 42 years old as well. Did you do drugs with Larissa? I used them on occasion, but my drug use never escalated to the point of physical violence. Right. Very well. Hey, Nico, how you doing? What's going on? Hello, Angel. Good to see you, Angel. Hello, Maggie May. What would you like to say about the statements made about you in this magazine article? Everything written is nonsense and a smear campaign. My career is well known to everyone. I am a public figure, and this text was clearly written to sabotage my career. I would also like to emphasize that I have a private life of my own, and I believe that the article in the magazine violated the privacy of my personal life. I mean, that is kind of a big deal putting it in a magazine, right? Regarding the statement in the voice recording, what would you like to say? Well, we don't know about the voice recording. I guess maybe looking at the evidence first before. I think this checklist we should do differently. We shouldn't follow the checklist one by one. I think we should do the checklist. We should do the evidence first and then talk with people, maybe. I don't know. What do you think about that? Regarding the statement in the voice recording, what would you like to say? I sent that message in a moment of anger to a friend. I never intended to actually do anything. And those who know me well can vouch for the fact that I am not that kind of person. Okay. Very well. I quoted a line from a television series. The fact that this quote and private message I sent to a friend are being presented in court today shows the extent of the conspiracy. Very well. All right, sit down, sir. Whatever you want, I'm biased. Let's listen to the evidence, I guess. Let's do the evidence. We'll do the magazine into the voice recording. Okay, magazine. Vogue magazine. Larissa Band shares her relationships. Plural. I don't want to share too many details about my past relationships because it brings back my past traumas, but ultimately this is a special magazine and I take great pride in being interviewed by you. So I think I could share without delving into too many details. I don't know where to start, but in a past relationship, I had a partner who used drugs, got drunk, and physically abused me. You can imagine that getting over this wasn't easy. I needed a lot of support. This violence wasn't the first or the last. When violence entered the picture and we had heated arguments, I started to investigate more. I suspect that he was cheating on me with another woman, and when he realized that I was looking into it, he smashed a beer bottle over my head. I'm embarrassed to share these because I didn't deserve to experience such situations. It's been a long time since these incidents, and I believe sharing them with you won't have a negative outcome. Hello, Tulip. Hello, Spork. How are you? Hello, Waffle. Hello, Arborita. How are you doing? Hello, T. Hello, Brass Butterfly. Welcome in. How are all y'all? Good to see ya. Voice recording. I want to strangle Larissa Band. She deserves it. What? Okay. All right. Sick, dude. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's just so weird. Even like the magazine evidence is just, it's tough. It's very tough. All right, defendant, come on in, Larissa. Say what you have to say. Did you refer to Eric in the magazine article you wrote? That's a straight up question. Yes. Okay, well, did you self-incriminate yourself? I was referring to our relationship experiences. However, I didn't mention his name, but you just mentioned that you were talking about them. What happened here was genuinely something I experienced, but you just admitted. Right. I suffered significant emotional abuse in that relationship. I want to emphasize that what I mentioned is not a false accusation, but the truth. Okay. In the statement you gave to the magazine, you mentioned drug use and being subjected to violence while intoxicated. Do you have any evidence to support this? There are no reports I can present to the court regarding the matters you mentioned. However, one of the witnesses presented to the court is a forensic psychologist. Okay. She conducted an examination, and her sworn statement includes the fact that I was subjected to abuse. Do you believe that the magazine article you published, as stated by the plaintiff, directly harmed his career? In that article, I talked about my past experiences and did not mention anyone by name. Therefore, as long as I didn't use any identifying statements, I believe I should be free to share my thoughts. Why do I feel like that's reasonable? Don't yell at me, chat, but I feel like that's I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I think I live in a country where freedom of expression exists. Okay, right. I mean, that's not too, is that reasonable? I don't know. Okay. That is so unreasonable. Well, I mean, I do it on a daily basis. Like, I talk about past things that happened to me in my live streams, even regarding relationships, but I never name the person. So am I guilty then as well? I don't know if that... anyways, witness. All right, Dr. Rose Kuhn. Interesting name, Dr. Rose Kuhn. Hello, Lisa. How are you? Good to see you. Hello, Angel. How are you, Angel? Good to see you. Welcome in. Yes, Bella is recovering quite well. She's actually in the living room right now. But they aren't world famous. I mean, yeah, I guess, right? They aren't world famous, right? Does that change? So if you are world famous, does that change the law for you? Or does that change... Does that change the law for you if you're world famous? I would argue no, right? How long did you have therapy sessions with Larissa? We had a total of 12 hours of sessions. Okay, very well. During this process, what kind of diagnosis did you make? And what would you like to say about the therapy? She was diagnosed with 2 types of personality disorders as shown in the reports. Okay. I want to note that international scales were used to ensure there were no mistakes in diagnosis and treatment. Okay. Can you explain these diagnoses to us? Of course, Your Honor. Personality disorders are characterized by enduring patterns. There are differences in thoughts and emotions in the individual. Okay. People with this diagnosis have difficulty controlling their impulses and in forming relationships with others. The way the person interprets themselves, others, and events constantly change. At times, major depression and narcissism accompany this diagnosis. Right? True. Okay. This is all weird, dude. Let me just imagine. Obviously, it's not by the book of the Amber Heard in Johnny Depp's case, so we can't like treat this as the Johnny, even though it's very similar, right? We can't treat it as that. If the statements are true, it's fine. If they're intentional lies said with malice, then it is a problem. That's true, but wouldn't you say, I don't know, would that kind of correspond with like songs? Like, you say you do something, but do you really do it? Or you say something about someone in a song, is it really true? You know what I mean? I don't know. They're so like, but that's like a freedom of, that's like art, I guess, considered. I don't friggin' know, dude. I live in a very confusing, sexy time, don't I? How long do you have the therapy sessions, or how long did you have this therapy sessions? We had a total of 36 hours of sessions. Okay, very well. What diagnosis did you make at the end of the therapy process? Larissa Ban has experienced severe psychological abuse. Psychological abuse is a way of controlling a person using emotions. People do this generally through criticism, blame, insults, and shaming. Right. I cannot claim that Eric Martle directly engaged in this, but the test results I conducted revealed that she experienced this kind of abuse. Very well. Very well. Yeah, I guess. Right? It's not that long of a therapy, is that true? Okay, another person. What was your profession and what was your role in this case? I'm a couples therapist. This is the family therapist. Eric Martle and Larissa Ban were my clients during their marriage. Okay. Since you had the opportunity to meet with both of them, what can you tell us about the couple situation at the time? The couple didn't consistently have the same emotional state. Throughout the time they met with me, it was clear that both of them were emotionally abusing each other. Okay. Mutual love and respect seemed to have disappeared entirely. I tried to help them resolve this situation. I have no information or observations of physical violence. However, based on the way they interacted with each other, especially in the later stages of their relationship, it was challenging for both of them. Right. So let me say here, let me ask a question, because I really don't know the answer to this, because I don't remember it, because it was a while ago. Did Amber Heard in real life ever say Johnny Depp's name in any of the things that she posted, articles or interviews or whatever? Did she ever say his name during any of this time? Because at least in the game, this person is alluding to the fact that she had that there was a previous relationship, right? She never said his name. Okay. Interesting. Okay, interesting. I think honestly what happened in that case is Amber Heard talked too much. It's probably what happened. As far as this case in the game goes, it's just like so hard to like make a decision based off of what we have here. Only because like there's nothing really what we have here. Like a person or person who obstruct the freedom of thought and expression of individuals or who oppose the freedom of communication shall be sentenced. Like this law feels like it doesn't apply here, unless I am way over my head here. But this law doesn't feel like it applies here. She's guilty, throw the book at her. Everyone everyone would know who she is talking about only because they're famous, right? So because they're famous, it changes everything. So I guess if you're famous, there's things you get away with and things you don't get away with, right? I don't know, dude. I don't know, but this doesn't feel like this doesn't feel I don't know. I have no idea, dude. I mean, obviously she's probably guilty because this is like the parody, right? And I have to make a decision, but oh, don't even get me started with the B or the pint. Jesus. What do I have here? I have two grown ass people bitching. That's what I have here. Deputy's DA opinion. Witness testimonies can be the key. The sides and witnesses were heard in the court, and the evidence presented was examined. I mean, in real life, fine. I don't feel comfortable with this. $650,000, please. I don't know what we just did. I don't know what any of that was. What was that? Like, what was that case? I don't think there was enough there, to be real with you. There is a demand to increase the number of law schools. What are your thoughts on this? Sure. More is needed, I guess. I don't know, dude. John Charlie versus Adam Hurry. A labor dispute case. Fair enough. Yeah, I honestly, I like that last case. I mean, I only went guilty because of the parody. There wasn't enough there. I mean, he did say, "I'll strangle that bitch," right? In the voice recording. I want to strangle her. Like, that's not very nice. Don't say that, you know? I'm not going to read the news. I'll go ahead and do pre-trial. There we go. Let's jump into it. So what do we have here? Christopher Davis. My client agreed with the defendant to renovate the pool in his garden and arrange the decoration in the garden. However, the plaintiff claims that the work was not completed with specific time, and some of the materials received were not used. We request that the defendant be penalized for this. The plaintiff claims that the work was not completed within the specified time, and some of the materials received were not used. This is going to be interesting, right? Okay. This sounds like a little bit of just a small claims court, really, issue. Your Honor, my client reached an agreement with John Charlie to rebuild the pool in his garden and make various decoration improvements. However, during the course of the work, the plaintiff constantly made additional requests and refused to make additional payments for these requests. Okay. Sounds reasonable. The work was done within the allocated budget, but the additional requests could not be fulfilled due to the budget constraints, which led to a halt in the work. Seems reasonable to me. Nobody has any questions? Let's go to the case. All right. Hello. Choose that one. Your relationship with the family will increase by 5 points. Again, I don't know what this relationship stuff does. I don't know what the money is used for. I don't know where and why we have this stuff. The game still hasn't even taught us about any of that, if there is any reason for it. Order in the court. Lawsuit begins. Hello, this is the case between Charlie and Hurry. About the case, John Charlie contracted with Adam Hurry to rebuild the pool in his garden and to arrange the decoration in the garden. However, the plaintiff claims that the work was not completed within the specified time frame and that some of the materials acquired were not used. The defendant, on the other hand, asserts that new tasks were consistently added to the project, causing delays and resulting in additional costs. Right off the bat, it seems like a strong case. Back and forth. Not for the plaintiff. I think this is a strong case, possibly, at least from what we've heard. This is a strong case for the defendant so far. We have a retired Anthony Anderson as a witness, an assistant, and Lauren Parker. Evidence is contract and email. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the law, and then I'm going to look at the evidence, and then I'm going to talk to everybody else. Yeah. Hello, Ruth. Hello, Diane. How are you doing? What's going on? Okie dokie. Law states that in Law Article 955, a factory or business may be sued on charges of causing harm to the environment or creating pollution. I don't think that applies here. The court shall examine environmental pollution allegations and assess expert reports to determine the extent of damage and responsibility here. Again, I don't think that's the problem here. If the defendant factory or business is found responsible for environmental pollution, they may be penalized with compensation payments or required to undertake environmental remediation measures. I I don't think that's the problem here. Again, I don't think it is. We're not talking about... Okay, right. Give me the evidence. Contract and email. We'll go for the contract. Contract's the most important thing. We must go for that. This is the dumbest contract I've ever seen in my entire life. According to the contract, the pool in the garden will be rebuilt with new materials and modifications will be made around the pool. That is... What is this, dude? How am I supposed to go off of this? What contract is this? This is the most vague contract I've ever seen in my life. What are you talking about? How am I supposed to make us... All right, email. From John Charlie to Adam Construction about the landscaping. Hello, Adam. I'm writing about the improvements you made in the garden. I just realized that the pool is actually a bit small. I'd appreciate it if you could expand it. Good work. I got nothing, dude. What the frick? John, come to the stand. Did you sign the contract with the defendant for the work? Oh, God. Yes, Your Honor. We signed a contract for the renovations in my garden. However, the other party violated this contract. How? What do you think the contract was not adhered to? Some of the agreed upon work was not completed. What stuff? Additionally, all of the materials received were not used. Some of them are sitting in my garage. I've been put into a difficult situation. Oh my God. What do you have to say about the defendant claiming that you made additional requests beyond the contract? I sent them emails when I noticed that the work was not being done as agreed. I asked... No, that's not why you sent the email. No, time out. Bring that dialogue back. Silence. Protect workers' rights, not employer rights. Silence. Shh, be quiet. Bring that dialogue back. Order in the court. I sent them emails when I noticed that the work was not being done as agreed. No, you didn't. You sent them an email when you realized your pool was too small and you asked them to make it bigger. I asked for these issues to be corrected. They were being done. On several occasions when I visited for inspection, I saw work being done beyond what was specified in the contract, and I informed the party of these issues through emails. Beyond the contract? You're out of your freaking mind. Sit your ass down. That nothing that person's... Order with the cans. It's the plaintiff's job to bring a case. It's their job to make a case. What do you think the work went... What do you think the work went beyond what was specified in the contract? The work we agreed upon was only the reconstruction of the pool and a few landscaping changes. Okay. However, the other party requested an expansion of the pool and the addition of a small pool, which was beyond what was mentioned in the contract. This required an additional budget. Honestly, the contract didn't say any of that. I didn't read any of that in the contract because your guys' contract was absolute bullshit. Judge Judy would whoop both of your asses right now. Did you request an additional budget for this situation? Yes. Under normal circumstances, I shouldn't have engaged in actions that were contrary to the contract, but I informed them that I could do these tasks if they provided an additional budget. They responded negatively to my request, stating that they didn't want anything beyond what was in the contract. Do you have any proof of this? Do you have a text message? Do you have an email? Do you have anything? Why was the work not completed? I began revising the work according to the additional request, believing that an additional budget would be provided. However, when the additional budget wasn't provided, the money ran out after I placed orders for the materials for the revised work. Therefore, the work could not be completed. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Evidence. Witness Anthony Anderson, retiree. This is the retired person. Holy hell, he looks scary. What is your relationship with the plaintiff? Your Honor, I'm their neighbor. He has been my neighbor for many years. Okay. What will you say about this contract related to the case? What do you mean, what will you say about this contract related to the case? Why the hell would he know anything about the contract? As you can imagine, I don't have clear information about its content after all. It's a contract between two parties. I know. Why the hell as a judge would I ask you that? That was the dumbest question I could have asked. However, my neighbor's garden is currently in a state of construction. Furthermore, a significant portion of the materials received has not been used in the garden. Oh my God. Is there anything else you would like to add? No, Your Honor. Okay, sit your ass down. Why would I ask him how did the contract look? I, as a judge, should know that he probably didn't see no contract. All right, Lauren, I don't know what your relationship is. What is your relationship with the defendant? Adam Hurry is my boss, Your Honor. I work as his assistant. Okay. Were you involved in this project during the work process? Yes, Your Honor. I was handling discussions related to the project. Okay, that's it. Can you provide evidence that the plaintiff made additional requests? Yes, Your Honor. We have submitted the contract related to the case to your court. Additionally, we have provided you with the email sent by the plaintiff. I think you're throwing the plaintiff under the bus. I think you're throwing your boss under the bus, right? Wait. Whose boss are you? Are you his boss? No, you're the plaintiff's boss, right? Oh, God. Evidence, one more time. I gotta read this contract. According to the contract, the pool in the garden will be rebuilt with new materials and modifications will be made around the pool. I think it's time for deliberation. Innocent. Objection! Presenting evidence comprehensively and accurately forms the foundation of a fair trial. In this case, great importance should be given to the presentation of evidence. Yeah, you're right. Innocent. Judge, Honor Judge Richard Dixon finds the defendant innocent. Good job. That was a lousy ass case. As a result of the nationwide large-scale strikes, there's a demand to increase penalties for workplace accidents. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah, sure. I like the current penalty, or they should do more deterrent. There should be more deterrent. Wait a sec. I like the current penalty rates. There should be more deterrent penalties. A large-scale strike. There is a demand to increase penalties for workplace accidents. Okay. Right. Next. Kobardde versus William Davis, a murder case. Okay. As innocent as that guy was, Susie wants that person to be... Hello? Guilty. Hello? Chief Justice. Hello, Richard. We are facing a case that requires utmost attention. Hello, Minister. I'm always diligent in my work. Attorney Joseph Taylor has been killed, and we can't dwell on this case for too long. What do you mean? Richard, if you label this murder as a complicated and inconclusive, it means an important attorney in our country falls victim to an unsolved case. Are you suggesting punishing an innocent person? I'm just telling you one last thing. Sometimes justice is giving the public what it wants, and right now the public wants a murderer and not an unsolved case. No. Wrong. Incorrect. No. Incorrect. I hope there's a reward for carrying out your pockets. I understand, sir. The suspect is now the culprit. I will do justice. I will do what justice requires. Sick. I don't know if I made the right decision there on choices. Yeah, so, all right. The crime scene. Yeah, let's go to the crime scene. Sure, dude. Let's see what this is all about. Unfriend. freaking real. So we have 1, 2, 3 spots. 1, 2, 3 spots here. We have what looks to be footprints, tire marks, and the biggest bullet you've ever seen. Okay. All right. Description: as a result of the detailed examinations conducted by the teams at the crime scene, a shoe print belonging to a different person, that makes no sense, was found. Oh, I guess a different person from the victim, right? Different person was found at the location where the victim's body was discovered. The shoe print could belong to anyone who came near the victim's body. Therefore, it could not be determined as belonging to a specific individual. I mean, it's a shoe print. But yeah, sure. Number 2. Tire mark. On the day of the incident, a tire track was found in the parking slot next to the victim's car. The examination conducted by the teams indicates that the time the body was found is nearly consistent with the time the tire track was made. The crime scene team is considering the possibility that the tire track was created during the hours of the victim's death. Okay. And the biggest bullet of all time? Someone got hit by a mortar shell? During the detailed examinations at the crime scene, one bullet casing was discovered. Upon examination, it was determined to be the 45 ACP type. Although no firearm was found at the crime scene, it is believed that the commander model is the type of weapon based on the analysis of the firing power in the bullet casing. Why did we come out here? What was the reason of us coming out here? Can't someone just like throw that in the bag, take a picture of it, and show us it at in the courtroom? Why did we come out here? Pre-trial. All right. The plaintiff says, my colleague Joseph Taylor, who was a resident of the building, was killed by gunshot in the parking lot. There are many mysteries surrounding his death. The murder weapon, as reported in the media, is a firearm used by a terrorist organization. How in the world do you know that? You know, a 45 is very, very, very common. What do you mean it's used by a terrorist organization? Additionally, his comments on the social media law have garnered significant backlash from certain circles. It is highly likely that the motive for the murder is related to the statement he made to the press. I feel like I need to look at the news then. In this case, which is extremely susceptible to sabotage, the suspect fled the scene in his car, although the suspect claims his innocence. He did not report the incident for any medical team or the police after the event. Furthermore, he was the only person present in the parking lot at the time of the incident. As confirmed by witness statements, in order to fully clarify this murder, I request that the trial of the murder suspect, William Davis, be carried out, and if there are any masterminds, they should be exposed and subjected to the harshest punishment on behalf of our bar association. Wow, okay. Okay. Next. Defendant's lawyer. Your Honor, I must express my sadness regarding my colleague's situation. We do not condone this incident in any way, and my client has been unfairly targeted as the victim. He has no connection to politics or terrorist organization whatsoever. Furthermore, he knew the victim just like many others through the media. Therefore, there is no personal feud involved. I firmly believe that, and in order to shed light on the incident, the first priority should be to establish my client's innocence. Okay. Questions? None. I guess I don't get to look at the news. All right, very well. Is Johnny Depp now the lawyer? That's hilarious. Your relationship with the government decreased by 5? Sure. Sick. All right, order. Shut up. Lawsuit begins. We'll take a look at this. The plaintiff's behavior is indifferent. General behavior is anxious, but they are neat. The defendant is respectful, anxious, and neat. In the case file of Hawthorne versus Davis, prominent lawyer Joseph Taylor, a well-known figure in the public eye, was shot in the parking lot of the building where he resided. It is known that Joseph Taylor was opposed to the highly debated social media law recently passed in Parliament. The day before his death, he caused controversy by mentioning the possible judicial overturning of the law passed in Parliament. So what we have here is we have parking attendant witness, a retired person who's a witness, a hairdresser who's a witness, an expert who's also a witness, evidence of a security cam footage, gun report, newspaper, and chat. Seems like there's some substantial evidence here. All right, I'm liking where this is going. What are we doing with the law today? In Article 911, a person who endangers the lives of individuals by adding poison to any kind of food or substance to be consumed or by other laws tampering with what the fuck? What? Who's messing with my page tabs on my law constitution? We're talking about murder. Businesses that market their products in a manner that possess a risk to human health or fail to comply with hygiene. What? In the event that the business is suspected by the okay. Right. Just ignore that. What the? Let's look at the evidence, shall we? Security cam footage. What does that show us? One more time, please. Most dramatic fall to his death of all time. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you get shot from the back and in the back of the head, you don't fall backwards. I think you go forward. He went backwards even though he got shot in the back. Okay, sure. All right, newspaper. Lawyers' views on the social media law. It hasn't been long since our country adopted a civilian constitution. However, we are still far behind in such matters. For instance, the government can implement a law that will affect the majority of the population without holding a referendum. I want to explain the worst aspect of this law to you. The law was passed in Parliament while the famous celebrity couple's case was being heard. Damn it. Even just doing this, when people's attention was elsewhere, demonstrates the wrongness of the law. The annulment of this law is this highlighting is so hard to read, is possible through the legal route because it is entirely contrary to the law. Please let my fellow lawyers also examine this matter in detail. I believe the opposition will file a lawsuit on this issue. So in my opinion, they will definitely fight for the annulment of this law. Otherwise, it wouldn't be accurate to call them the opposition, right? I consider my views to be in line with the opinions of the majority of the people. That's why I'm paying special attention to this case. Did Johnny Depp kill this guy, or did Amber Heard kill this guy? Did one of them kill this guy? Come on now. My book is no longer helpful. True. Gun report. The Commando XC4 model firearm has been used as a signature weapon in past terrorist attacks. Okay. In the country, based on the findings of crime scene investigations, including bullet cores and ignition factors, it has been determined that the weapon used was the Commando XC4. No firearm was found at the crime scene. If you don't find the weapon to the crime, or if you don't find the weapon, you need the weapon, right? You need the weapon. By the way, this is a gun that has been a signature weapon in past terrorist attacks. What the hell does that even mean? Photos. Chat conversation on WhatsApp. William, be ready for tomorrow. I'm expecting you for dinner in the evening. Doesn't say anything. No, nope. Nope. Nothing for me. Hello, Rachel. How are you? All right. Show me what you got, Hawthorne. Why do you believe the victim was killed by the defendant? As can be seen from witness statements, I haven't seen witness statements. At the time of the incident, only the victim was present in the parking lot. I should have done the witness, shouldn't I? The victim was... Wait a sec. Hang on a sec. As can be seen from witness statements, at the time of the incident, only the victim was present in the parking lot. Doesn't that mean there's no witnesses? Or am I getting my head blown here? Investigations conducted after the incident also revealed that no one else entered or exited the parking lot. What? Marina, how are you, Marina? What's going on? Good to see you. Of course, the lawyer didn't spring for dessert. It appears that you mentioned the involvement of instigators in the case. What is the basis for this claim? Your Honor, as it is well known, my colleague had made statements in the press suggesting the possible nullification of the relevant law. This stance had elicited strong reactions from certain quarters. Therefore, it is highly probable that this murder was committed to silence his voice, or this voice. Additionally, the presence of instigators in the firearm used in the murder further straightens this possibility. So your allegations is that the suspect was used by certain entities. Can you provide evidence for this? We do not have any evidence of any connection with a terrorist organization or other entities, sir. So, right. Okay, then I think this wraps that up. How? It just said how. Oh, crap. Did I miss? I think I missed something else. However, she was going to say I cut her off. Defendant, come on in. What was the reason for your presence in the parking lot where the incident took place? How do we know he was in the parking lot? My relative, who was among the witnesses, moved to the building where the incidents occurred last week. I went to visit him and parked my car in the building's parking lot. Okay. Did anything unusual happen when you parked your car? And was there anyone else in the parking lot besides you? Yes, there was someone. There was a man with a black hood standing with his back to me, and I think he was smoking because I could see smoke. He had a plastic bottle in his hand and threw a cigarette butt into it. Then he put the bottle back in his car. What happened next? After that, that person got into his car and drove in the opposite direction of mine. Shortly after, I heard gunshots and ran towards the exit. Gunshots, plural. Well, the security footage shows one gunshot, not gunshots. I didn't think to notify anyone because I was in a state of panic, and I didn't understand what had happened. Okay. Is this guilty? Tyler Johnson. A witness to not witness. On the day of the incident, did any foreign vehicles enter the parking lot apart from the building's residents? No, sir. Well, there's a situation. I had to briefly leave my post to attend to a restroom break. This period was within a range of 10 to 15 minutes. During that time frame, no foreign vehicles entered or exited the parking lot. How do you know? You were at the bathroom break. What did you just say to me? What did you see when you arrived at the scene, and what would you like to say regarding the erased camera recordings during the mentioned time frame? What the frick? I was walking back towards my duty area after coming out of the restroom. When I heard gunshots, again plural, I panicked and didn't know what to do. During this time, I saw the defendant running out of the parking lot. I entered the cabin in my duty area and noticed the cameras have been turned off. So you saw him? Right, okay. Was there anything unusual in your duty area? Wait a sec, I thought the plaintiff said nobody saw anybody. Okay. During this time, I saw the defendant running out of the parking lot. Yes, okay, do that. Was there anything unusual in your duty area, the cabin? No, sir. It was evident that there was a hurried movement. There was a coffee cup on the table that had fallen and shattered. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Chloe Martin. Why would Chief Justice try to make up your mind before hearing this case? I think it's mostly because I'm even now kind of feeling it. I'm feeling this guy is innocent. And I don't think the Chief Justice or whoever talked to me before wants an innocent out of it. They want a guilty out of this. Do you have any information about what happened? No, Your Honor. I was startled when I heard gunshots and immediately reported the situation to the police. Okay. Even though, like, where I live in real life, gunshots are very frequent. They happen like every night, and it's almost like having fireworks every night. It's usually people that are doing bad things, but then most of the time it's people just shooting in their backyard at like 2 in the morning, which is very rude because some of us are trying to sleep. Do you have any knowledge about your neighbor? No, sir. I have had no interaction with them. Okay. Was there anything you noticed before the incident, like an increase in unfamiliar individuals entering the building or parking lot? There were some people who came to visit my neighbor. What caught my attention was that different people came every day. Sometimes 3 to 4 different people would visit in one day. Other than that, I didn't notice anything else. Okay. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, that many people coming, it's, you know, that's how you would like, I mean, if you saw a lot of people coming to somebody's house, you're like, at least where we live, you're like supposed to like report that to like the police, because that's supposed to like indicate that it's a drug house if there's a lot of people coming in and out of the house, right? Right. Okay. And the listening conversations ended. Witness Ella Taylor. Ella, can you confirm that William Davis is your relative and that he came to visit you? Yes. Okay, so his alibi works. I invited him to dinner the night before the incident. Right. Did you often have visitors? Yes. Because I had just moved in, there were movers, cleaning staff, furniture assemblers, painters. My God. You have the whole ropes, don't you? The house needed renovations. Okay. What were you doing at the time of the incident, and what would you like to say about your relative who is the defendant in this case? Your Honor, at the time of the incident, they didn't capitalize at, I was on the balcony having coffee. Our kitchen opens to the balcony. I heard gunshots, plural, and looked down when I leaned over, but I couldn't see anything. As for my relative, he is apolitical, not interested in current affairs or politics, and I don't believe he could commit a murder. Right. Okay. Right. Right. Riley Bennett, come to the stand, please. What are your findings and thoughts on the incident? Oh my God, look at her. Holy crap, dude. She looks like a vampire. Sir, the firearm used in is a Commando XC4 model, which, as you know, has frequently been used in terrorist attacks in the past. Okay. While this suggests that possibility of the incident being carried out by a terrorist organization, this has no, the possibility of diversion should not be disregarded. No, irrelevant. I say the type of gun is irrelevant. What are the results of examinations conducted on the defendant and his relative? No direct connection to any political party, organization, or group was identified. There is no likelihood of a personal vendetta. What are your thoughts on the erased camera recordings? It's clear that the individual didn't have time to erase all the recordings. However, the most crucial entry and exit records have been successfully deleted. This type of incident could have been planned in months in advance, leaving very traces behind. Honestly, this is an innocent case. I'm gonna read this again. Get your poison out of here. Decision has been made. Yeah. The plaintiff, the prosecutors, they have nothing. Innocent. You're a free man. Put your wings out and fly. He's gonna be pissed at me now, isn't he? All right. Supreme Court wants to raise the retirement age. What are your thoughts? No. No. I think they're already quite high. No. Wait. Hang on. Yeah. No. No, we don't need 80-year-old senators or 80-year-old people in 90-year-old people in politics. Jeez, no disrespect. Jackson Rogers versus Ernest Tucker. This is a theft case. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's a theft case. I'm not too worried. Give me a pretrial. Should be clean, easy, right? Easy enough. If you're bringing a case, I should see at least some sort of evidence that somebody's stealing something, rather, right? I'm not too worried about this. My client has been operating an antique shop on Shawn Street for many years. His customer base is generally local and consistent. However, in recent days, the defendant visited his shop, and upon leaving, my client noticed that the painting he had placed next to the counter to hang on the wall had disappeared. Therefore, he is requesting the defendant's punishment. Okay. My client recently rented an apartment on Shawn Street. While shopping for a few items for his new apartment, he visited the plaintiff's antique shop as well. He purchased a vase from the shop and then left. He vehemently, what? I didn't get to read the rest of that. Okay, go to the case. No objections, I guess. Fine. Are they guessing that the guy stole it? Unless they have evidence saying otherwise. $50 in cash. All right, very well. Order. Lawsuit begins. Plaintiff is respectful, excited, and neat. Defendant is careless, indifferent, and neat. This is the case of Rogers versus Tucker. Plaintiff's side. Jackson Rogers owns an antique shop and alleges that the defendant, Ernest Tucker, stole a painting. This is definitely Judge Judy now. Painting from the shop. The defendant, on the other hand, denies the accusations. When the police arrived at the scene, they found fingerprints, but given that it is a shop with a lot of customer traffic, there are numerous fingerprints, making it inconclusive. That makes sense. Witnesses say there is a worker, a cleaner, and estate agent, and the only evidence that shows is the police report. What is the law for today? The law states that in Article 764, a person who, through the press and media, falsely accuses someone of an unlawful act. Get out of here. All right. We'll look at the evidence first and foremost, which is the police report. What the hell does that say? Diddle me. Upon receiving the report, the police team that arrived at the scene has completed a detailed investigation. As a result of this investigation, it was determined that the security cameras in the shop are malfunctioning and unusable. Other nearby shops do not have security cameras. At the time of the incident, only the shop owner was present in the store. The shop's other employee was not in the store at the time of the incident and stated that they were in close proximity to the store. As a result of the examinations conducted by the expert team, many fingerprints were found in the shop, but due to it being a shop, there are fingerprints from various customers throughout the day. The police teams have spoken with a municipal cleaner in the vicinity and has been called as a witness to court. Honestly, innocent. I'm just saying it now. I'm going to do the witnesses first. Is this Aiden Blase? What is your connection to the incident? Your Honor, I work at the antique shop where the incident took place. I was not at the workplace in the morning because I had a day off. Okay, I was heading to the shop in the afternoon. So you weren't there when the incident happened, or? When I turned the corner and reached the beginning of the street, I saw someone quickly walking away from the store with a large black bag. You saw someone, but you don't know who that someone was. Can you describe the person you saw? I was still at the beginning of the street and their back was turned to me. Therefore, I couldn't see their face. Well, yeah. Honestly, I didn't pay much attention because I thought it was just an ordinary customer who had purchased a product. Yeah, so you have nothing. Sit your ass down. Alfie Gardner, hello. Yeah, can you introduce yourself? I'm a sanitation worker employed by the city. Sanitation. Where were you on the day of the incident? I was stationed on Sean Street on the day of the incident, Your Honor. Okay. Can you tell us what you saw? I was cleaning at the end of the street. At the moment, I heard a commotion. When I turned around, I saw someone had bumped into my trash can a bit further down, but they continued without stopping. I couldn't see their face, but I noticed their hair was blonde from under their hat, and they had a large bag in their hand. Okay, so blonde. Sit down. Next! Who is this? Charles Cooper? Too much innocent today, isn't there? Yeah, too much innocent. Please introduce yourself. Your Honor, I work as a real estate agent. I also rented out the defendant's property. What would you like to say about the incident? On the day of the incident, I noticed that the defendant was missing a few documents. I came to his front door around noon to have him sign the missing paperwork. When I rang the bell, no one was there. I waited for a while, and then Ernest Tucker arrived. He looked a bit disheveled. I didn't stay long, just got the document signed and left. Okay, all right. Plaintiff, got anything to say about any of this? What will you say regarding the incident? Your Honor, I have been operating an antique shop at the same location for many years. I know my customers, and they are usually the same people because the items I sell are quite expensive. Therefore, specific individuals from the area come to make purchases. On the day of the incident, I saw the defendant for the first time. That's why I observed him closely while he was browsing the store. He kept looking around, especially at the cameras. Okay, that is, okay, there's so much I could dive into this sentence here, but at least speaking like personally and like personal experiences, but I'm not going to. But you, sir, that's not good to sit there and pass judgment. This raised my suspicion. However, that's so weird. As I was not alone in the shop, I had to go to the back storage area to package the vase he purchased quickly. After completing the task, I returned to deliver the vase. So basically what this guy said was, I have the same customers because I sell expensive stuff. And then he went on to say that I have a new customer and I don't trust the new customer and I have to watch them closely. How the heck are you supposed to get new customers if you are throwing them under a microscope when they come in and judging them? Wouldn't you welcome new customers? Welcome! Hello! I had to go back to the storage room to finish my work. When I came out of the storage room, I noticed that the painting on the counter had disappeared. Okay, let me break your effing logic here, sir. You just told me that you have same customers, loyal customers, customers that you trust. Then you have a new customer come in that you have never seen, never met before, and that you already throw him under the bus and think he's suspect. And then during this time, you're like, well, I'm gonna go into the back room and continue my work back there. Is that what you're telling me? Or did I miss something here? Are you saying that you don't trust this guy, so you decided to go into the back room? What the hell are you talking about? Are the security cameras in your shop working? Sir, recently the city conducted work on our street, and this caused an electric outage. Therefore, the cameras malfunctioned. Unfortunately, on the day of the incident, they were still not repaired. You mentioned that you went to the storage area after the defendant left the shop. Okay, never mind. He said after the defendant left the shop, so I must have missed that. Did you hear anyone else entering the shop during that time? My shop is located on a busy street with both vehicle and pedestrian traffic, sir. There were many noises, so unfortunately, I did not hear any sounds as you mentioned. Well, I'm sorry. You can't just point the finger then. That's honestly, it's a very like Karen Kevin thing for you to do. So I have my decision here. I don't even need to talk to the defendant, but I will, I guess. Hello, Dixie. How are you? Hello, Laura. How are you? What can you say about the accusations the plaintiff has made against you? Your Honor, I have recently moved to Sean Street. For this reason, I wanted to purchase some items for my new home. I visited the antique shop and bought a vase, and that's all I did. I vehemently denied this highly disturbing accusation. In fact, I will be countersuing this person for falsely accusing me of theft and defamation. Good for you. The plaintiff stated that you were constantly glancing. It doesn't matter if he was constantly glancing at his cameras. It's not a crime. It is, you know, but it is like weird, but it's not a crime. What do you have to say about this? The shop had long shelves with antique items. As I mentioned before, I was there to make a purchase, and I was examining the products. Honestly, whenever I go into Joann's, I look up at the cameras, not because I'm going to steal something, not because I'm going to steal something, but mostly because I'm like messing with Danielle. And I don't want anybody seeing that I'm messing with her. You know, sometimes you get a finger up the butt or something. Anyways, is that a crime, sir? I did not engage in any behavior that could be considered suspicious, and I was not even aware of the presence of cameras. What do you do after leaving the shop? Or what did you do after leaving the shop? I went to my home, which is located on the same street. I did not go anywhere else. Yeah. Countersue. Innocent. They said this season was going to be messy. I'm being honest with you. Nothing's messy. I'm cleaning it all up. Decision. We got an innocent gentleman right here. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. We did it. All right. We're killing it. We're killing it today. We are banging out these cases like nobody's business. Your son wants to adopt a dog. What are your thoughts about this? It will be quite costly. It could be a nice source of joy. Yeah. There we go. There we are. Very well. All right. What do we have here? Another murder case. Kobardde versus Matthew Reed. Send me. Take me to the crime scene. Yeah. Take me to the crime scene. Here we go. Let's do it. These look like the same freaking... These are the same evidence, dude. Tire track, footprints, glass. Okay. Is this going to say like the same dialogue too? Upon reviewing the police team's cameras, it was observed that shortly after the victim left the house and walked towards the lake, a car approached and entered the camera's field of view. A detailed examination of the area only revealed tire tracks and no other details were found. Very well. Over here. Game reminds me of Law and Order. The Law and Order PC games. A little bit. Kind of. It has been learned that there was a big party at the house during the time of the incident. During the investigation, numerous alcohol bottles were found in the vicinity. Broken glass bottle pieces were found in the front of the house. Not all pieces of the bottles are present, so the type of bottle is unknown. Although it is more likely to be part of a beer bottle, it could also be from a medicine bottle. Right, okay. Hey, Dapper. How are you doing, Dapper? What's going on? Many shoe prints were found both inside and outside the house. To match those shoe prints with the individuals present inside the house on the day of the incident, they were sent to the laboratory for detailed examination. Considering that there was a party at the house on the day of the incident, the results obtained from this may not be useful. I disagree. I think this shoe size of somebody can really narrow down people. Like if you have a shoe size 8, maybe 2 people have shoe size 8 instead of 10 people all wearing shoes. I disagree. Yeah. Oh, the CSI game on the Wii. Oh, dude, I think a CSI game would be really fun to play. All right, give me the pre-trial. There's an Law and Order PC game. There was way back in the early 2000s. It was like on a CD-ROM, I believe. There was a Law and Order game. It scared the crap out of me because I was like a child playing it. Because when you went to the crime scenes, it was like, oh my God, somebody's dead. And then Dun 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 dun. Boom boom dun 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 dun. Bow 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 bow. And the guitar strung hit, that's where it freaked me out. Okay, plaintiff's lawyer. The victim, Victor Miller, was highly a respected businessman. He was found dead by the lakeside after a party at his luxury lakeside cottage. The autopsy results indicate that he did not die from injuries or drowning, but rather from poisoning with a toxic substance. Okay, the toxic substance law makes sense here. It is evident from the statements of other witnesses at the party, including those who had witnessed a heated argument between Victor and the defendant, Matthew Reed, due to their past issues. Furthermore, Matthew was the last person to see the victim, Victor, before he left the party. Based on the testimonies of other witnesses and the evidence, we request his prosecution. Very well. My client denies all charges against him. He acknowledges having a heated argument with Victor at the party related to their past work-related issues. However, Victor had a contentious relation. I can't read when it's going so fast. Contentious relationships with several individuals from his past business dealings due to unpaid debts, and some of these individuals were also present at the party. What is this, like a loan shark? After the argument, my client lost his temper and was removed from the scene by other partygoers. After calming down, he returned to the party, keeping his distance from Victor throughout the event. I think you're talking too much as his lawyer. Oh my god, I think you're talking way too much. Have a good one, Jim. Do take care. Thanks for hanging out with us. Absolutely. Yeah, LA Noire is a fantastic game. Fantastic game. I love that game. I've only played through that game one time, and it was when it first came out. And when it first came out, I played it on Xbox 360. And when the game came out, when you bought the game, it came with 3 discs. It was crazy. I was like, whoa. Your relationship with the government will decrease by 5. All right, fair enough. Order. Lawsuit will now begin. In the case of Taylor versus Reed, the town's residents are shaken by a murder case that occurred in a luxury lakeside cottage. Victor Miller, a young and successful businessman, is found dead in the vacation home. His body is discovered on the lakeshore. Wait. A young and successful businessman is found dead in the vacation home? His body is discovered on the lakeshore. What? He's found dead in the vacation home, but his body is discovered on the lakeshore? No, doesn't make sense to me. Autopsy's results suggest that the cause of death was not drowning, but rather poisoning by a toxic substance. Those close to him and his colleagues mentioned that Victor has conflicts with several individuals. The witnesses is businessman Robert Williams, finance expert Isabella Miller, designer Charlotte Anderson, and police Mark Thompson. We have evidence of security cam footage, autopsy report, and an email. Very well. Hello, Jen and Juice, and hello, Kyla. Good to see you. Okay, put that down. Do we have the right law? Damn it, we don't have the right law, man. We don't have the right poisoning law. A police officer has the authority to use a firearm for the purpose of self-defense. Oh, don't even get me started. Now we're on. I bet you that case is going to show up very soon. That's going to, it's kind of like spoiling the cases ahead, right? In a way. We'll look at the evidence here. Security cam footage. They pulled up in a Lambo. They didn't show anything. Somebody walks out and then somebody pulls up in a Lambo. Who owns a Lambo? All right, sick, dude. Email Matthew to Victor. I cannot reach you. Victor, according to our business agreement from last year, you were supposed to make the necessary payment last week. Delays like this happen every time we do business together, and it's starting to frustrate me. Be careful, because I can imagine what might happen when we meet face to face. It's a threat. It's a threat. Yeah. Yeah, it's a threat. It's a legitimate threat. Documents from the Kobardde Hospital of the autopsy report. Victor Miller, January 5th of 1990. Date of birth, blood group of AB negative. The victim experienced cyanide poisoning, and the cause of death is attributed to this. There was no sign of drowning, so just telling us that it was poison. Okay, let's talk to the witnesses. Robert Williams, come up to the stand, please, first. What would you like to say about the argument between Victor and Matthew Reed? Both sides were quite tense, and it was just a matter of time before the verbal argument turned into a physical confrontation. What did Matthew Reed do after the argument? Well, he was removed from the party area. He was still agitated and using profanity during the removal. Okay. But nobody saw anybody get hurt. Sit down. Sit down. Case solved. Isabel Miller. Do you have any information about past business disputes between them? It's true that there were disputes between Victor Miller and Matthew Reed over payment issues. Okay. Sometimes these disputes could escalate. I'm not very familiar with the details though. Okay. How do you evaluate the argument? I can't say I was surprised. As I mentioned, such situations were common between the two. The only difference with this one was that it was more intense and heated than the others. Right. All right. Nothing really there for us. Charlotte Anderson. I think this is the designer. When did you last see Victor Miller? Towards the end of the party. I had a brief conversation with Victor by the lakeside. It was just an ordinary conversation about everyday life. Like, how are you? What have you been up to? Did they forget to put the end quotation marks at the end there? And forget to put a question mark as well? What happened after Victor's death? We were all quite shocked. We called the police for help. All right, sit down. Nothing so far. Witness Mark Thompson. Oh, this is the police officer. This is Johnny Depp. When did you arrive at the scene and what did you see? When I arrived at the scene, Victor Miller's body was found at the lake shore. Did you see any other person at the scene? No. When I arrived, I only saw the body. The other people had left the party area. Okay. So far, I don't have a lot of evidence here to put someone behind bars. Oh, Johnny Depp is also the attorney as well. So the plaintiff says, do you know about the cause of Victor Miller's death? The autopsy report indicates that Victor Miller died due to poisoning by a toxic substance. True. What can you say about the argument that took place at the party? There are witnesses who state that there was a heated argument between Victor and the defendant. True. Matthew Reed. True. Due to the past business disputes. Also true. That doesn't tell us anything though, other than there was an argument. What are your thoughts on Matthew Reed's role? Matthew Reed is the last witness to the argument with Victor during the party, and Victor's death occurred after he left the scene. We request that clarification of suspicious circumstances in the case and the punishment of the culprits. We don't know, dude. I don't know. That's not enough. Innocent. No? I hate to say this, but I really think he is innocent. I think so too. Hey, Mystic, how are you? Let's see what he says. Susie thinks I'm in the wrong chat. What kind of business disputes have you had with Victor Miller in the past? We had arguments over payment issues with Victor Miller, and I cannot say he was a very reliable debtor. However, such disputes were common, and I was used to this situation. This argument was just one of them. What happened after the party? After the argument at the party, I couldn't control my temper, and I considered returning to the party. However, I was removed from the scene and did not rejoin the party. How do you respond to the allegations regarding Victor's death? I have no knowledge of the toxic substance that caused Victor's death. I also have no information about how the incident occurred. Yeah, I have to go off of his word because everything else is BS to this point. So He is innocent. That's what I have. Hello, Moonchild. How are you? Sorry. Defendant won. No penalty. Seems like we did the right choice. Is anyone guilty anymore? I know, right? The public wants to participate more in court cases. What are your thoughts on this? Maintaining order in the court will be challenging. One of the most fundamental rights. It depends on what participation means, but I'll say that. It doesn't seem like any of the choices that I do make anyways makes a difference regardless. Right? It doesn't. What do we have here? Andrew Amore versus Linda Wilson in an insult case. Somebody insult somebody. Very. Ring a freaking ding ding. Prime Minister says, Richard, we are going through challenging times as a government. The service of justice is crucial during this period. I believe I've been fulfilling my duty to ensure justice, sir. In that case, justice won't condone insulting a prime minister. Oh, God. Of course, sir. After all, you were elected by the people. It's nice to hear that, Richard. Hopefully the outcome will reflect that. I don't understand, sir. Don't make the mistake of advocating for the absurdity of freedom of speech. Oh, well, this is a conflict of interest for me. Richard, justice is necessary for everyone, but for some, it's even more necessary. Goodbye. What? Okay. Free trial. What, did someone insult the prime minister? Hey, prime minister, you got a fat ass. Put me behind bars, nerd. Mr. Prime Minister, he has dedicated himself to the service of our country and our citizens. The individual with the username @LindaW on a social media platform openly insulted and slandered the Prime Minister. Dude, you wouldn't even... Have you seen Twitter? We request the harshest penalty of this behavior that has damaged his reputation. You're telling me one person said some ish and has now incredibly damaged... Wait, what? Your Honor, my client is a young university student. In recent days, he expressed... Wait, I thought this was Linda. He expressed his opinions freely by sharing a post on social media before the live broadcast in which the Prime Minister was to participate. The statements he used should be considered within the scope of freedom of expression. We reject the allegations of defamation and insult. Well then. Right. Right. I guess it all depends on what is being said here and what the law is in this country, which hopefully we get the right law book for it, but we'll have to see. Send them to the principal's office. There we go. There we go. That's exactly what we need to do. They usually throw eggs at politicians. Your relationship with the family will decrease by 5. Well, F me. All right, order. Sit down. This is lawsuit begins. I'm Judge Richard Dixon, and this is a ridiculous case. This is the case of Carter versus Linda Wilson. I thought it was a... Anyways. The Prime Minister participated in a joint live broadcast organized by 3 television channels at 8 p.m. to answer journalist questions. Before going live, a citizen named Linda Wilson with a username @LindaW posted a message referring to the Prime Minister saying, "Will the old geezer make it to the live broadcast building? I can send him a wheelchair." That's all you said. That's all you said. That's it? That's it? That's it? A legal case has been filed against the citizen who made this post, accusing them of insulting state leaders. The defendant argues that the post falls under the umbrella of freedom of expression. Sir, if you can't... How are you in politics if you... All right. I gotta see the social media post. Linda Wilson. Will the old man be able to go will the old man be able to go to the live broadcast building? Question mark. I can send a wheelchair. The YouTube comment section. I've gotten worse than this. Don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. Penalty? No! Guilty my ass. I disagree. The government is planning to reclaim the vehicles it allocated to judges as part of the austerity directive. What are your thoughts on this? Sure. I was a butthurt politician. I agree. She should have been locked up. Throw the book at her. Next, Jessica Parker versus David Turner, a domestic violence case. All right, this is a sticky one here. I mean, yeah, she's guilty for saying it, but it's not something that you've... the plaintiff from your previous case has approached us believing your decision was incorrect. After conducting a thorough review, we have concluded that you indeed made an erroneous judgment. F off. Just F right off. All right. All right, here we go. This is going to be sticky. And my client has been in a 4-year marriage. However, due to her spouse's long-term violence towards her and their children, she wants to end the marriage and obtain a protection order. Okay. The reason for not filing a complaint until today is solely because of the violence directed at her, right? Because of the defendant's violence towards the children as well. She can no longer tolerate this situation. Good for her. What does the defendant's lawyer have to say? My client occasionally engages in arguments with his spouse. However, he has never allowed these issues to affect their children. Okay, does it affect their children, but does it affect his wife? Their arguments with each other are mostly verbal in nature, mostly due to the psychological impact on the children. These arguments with his spouse have occasionally escalated in this direction. Okay, I think you spoke too much, sir. I would have fired your ass. Additionally, he mentions that his spouse is using various depression medications. What does that have to do with anything? Johnny Depp is back. That's true. You will not receive any punishment from this case. Okay. All right. Sit down. Shut up. Thank you. Let's see where the law sits here. Article 805. Everyone has the right to express and disseminate their thoughts and ideas individually or collect. I think this had to do with the last... A person who insults the sovereignty of the state and the dignity of the institution shall be sentenced to imprisonment for a term of 3 to 6 years. You're telling me that lady that said, do I need to bring a wheelchair deserves 6 years in prison? I hate this country. What the frick? This is the case of Jessica Parker versus David Turner. Jessica Parker and David Turner, who have been married for 4 years, are facing domestic violence case. Jessica Parker claims that the defendant has occasionally been violent towards her and their children. Due to this situation, she wants to file for a divorce and obtain a protection order. David Turner, on the other hand, denies these allegations and states that he has not committed any acts of violence. Witnesses: hairdresser, therapist, evidence of security cam footage of nothing, blank, medical report, and psychiatric report. Hairdresser is very important because let's be honest, ladies, when we go to the hairdresser, we tell our hairdresser everything because our hairdresser is sort of kind of like a therapist. Anyways, let's take a look at the room here. Let's read the room. The plaintiff is respectful, tense, and neat. The defendant is indifferent, anxious, and neat. If you like gossip, if you want to be in the middle of gossip, become a hairdresser. We already looked at the law. Time to look at the evidence. Yeah. Security cam footage. Let's see what this shows. What am I looking at? Okay, a vase that seems to have fallen off a counter or possibly thrown. Okay. Police report. Right. Complaint records from neighbors at specific intervals have been received regarding the relevant residents. When the necessary teams arrived at the scene, the family members did not file a complaint, and as a result, no action was taken. Medical report. Tests have been conducted on Jessica Parker, and signs of violence have been found. However, tests conducted on the children did not reveal any signs of violence. Psychiatrics report. Jessica Parker is using antidepressant medications. Among the side effects of these medications are potential effects such as loss of self-control and self-harm. The likelihood of these side effects occurring is low. The person may experience fatigue and drowsiness after taking the medication. Very well. This is going to be a spicy one now, isn't it? Let's talk to the hairdresser. How do you evaluate the relationship between Jessica and David? The tension between them was evident. Their looks, behaviors, and conversations showed that. However, I have no knowledge of observation of physical violence. Okay. What do you know about Jessica's psychological condition? She was occasionally anxious and stressed, but I don't know exactly what caused it. I attribute it to her disagreements with her husband. Okay, well, you are absolutely no help. Sit down. And please never wear that crop top in my courtroom ever again. I think Judge Judy said that one time in an episode. Dr. Sarah Miller. What kind of impact did the conflicts between Jessica and David... Wait a sec. What kind of impact did the conflicts between Jessica and David have? It seems that the conflicts between the two have had a negative impact on their children, of course. Although the children don't directly admit it, their general behavior seems anxious. Okay. What do you think about Jessica using depression medications? Your Honor, medications can have different effects on each individual. True. The mentioned medication is a psychiatric drug, so it would require specific tests and time to observe how Jessica was affected by it. Since I have been providing counseling services to them for a short period, I cannot use clear expressions regarding the matter. Okay. Plaintiff. Let's see what you got to say. Can you describe the details of the violence your spouse inflicted on you and the children? He subjected us to both physical and psychological violence. I think we should be having the opportunity to possibly like interview the children if they were wanting to or subjected to. I guess I don't know how that all works. It had become unbearable, especially when he used violence in front of my children, insulted me. It had a very negative effect on me and the children. What would you like to say about the extent of the violence? Were you concerned about your safety? Absolutely. Yes, sir. He seemed to have lost control. He would beat me until bruises appeared on my body. As I cried in fear, he would escalate further, and instead of calming down, he would throw anything he could get his hands on at me. Why didn't you file a complaint earlier? Irrelevant question. I wanted to protect my children. He constantly threatened me. He said that if I made even the slightest complaint, he would torture me and make the children watch. Jesus Christ. Okay. Sit down. My lord. Defendant. Were most of your arguments with your spouse verbal or physical? Most of the time, our arguments were verbal. I did not engage in violence. Well, what the hell does that mean? Most of the time they were verbal, but the other time they weren't physical? Then what the hell were they? What did you just say to me, sir? How do you think your arguments with your spouse have affected your children? I admit that it had a negative impact on our children. That's why I try to be calmer when our children are around. They are my children. I would never want any harm to come to them. What do you know about your spouse using depression medications? I have no idea. Perhaps the reason for these false allegations is hallucinations caused by the medication. All right, I think I've heard enough. You think he's innocent? I was thinking guilty. I mean, I do kind of agree with, like, there's not enough evidence, really. But at the same time, I think he's all over the place. Like, I think in real life, I don't think this would... I don't know. In real life, I don't think this would... With what we have here, I don't know if it would be enough. I don't know. There isn't... I mean, the only thing we have is medical report from the hospital saying that she had some bruises. But there was never, like, a police report that said otherwise. The video camera footage didn't show anything. But typically, at least where we live, if there's a domestic issue, the police come, and it doesn't matter if she said or he said this or that, if it's true or not, somebody's leaving the house. It just is what it is. I guess. Guilty, prison, 5 years. I don't know, dude. Domestic violence. I don't know how long domestic violence actually does go for. I'll just sit 5 years, I guess. He's innocent. He did not hurt the children. Wait. This is about the wife, isn't it? He's innocent? Wait a sec. What? He only argued with the wife. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess. Look, this is where it at. It's a he said, she said. That's basically all we have here. Right? It's a he say, she say. Because there isn't evidence of him actually doing the harm, but we can suspect there is. You know? Yeah. She may hurt herself due to side effects from medication, but there's no harm on the kids. It's true. See, and that's where it is. It's like there's no harm, there's no physical harm on the kids. Hang on a sec. Did she ever say... She never said physical harm to the kids, did she? This is tough, dude. She did accuse him in pretrial of hurting the kids. Oh, she did? Can I see the pretrial? Hang on a second. Let me look at the pretrial. Oh, frick, I can't. Because that would really be something. Because if that's the case, then she's lying. If she said that in the pretrial, if she said that he was hurting the kids, then she's lying. Because she obviously said that he wasn't. Now. Oh. I see. I thought she was trying to get a restraining order. I mean, you can't... He wasn't like abusing the kids or anything like that. If anything, he might have been verbally abusing the wife, right? He was verbally abusing the wife. There's no evidence suggesting that he was physically abusing the kids. There's no evidence suggesting that he was physically abusing his wife. There's no evidence suggesting that he was verbally abusing his kids. You can't put someone in prison for, I guess, verbal abuse. Instead, you get a restraining order, you divorce them, you split up with them, right? You can't put someone in there. I don't think you can. You can't put someone away for verbally abusing somebody. I don't think you can. Right? You have to just break up with them. You have to divorce them. And then you say, well, if that happens and he gets mad and then he retaliates, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, right? You can't prevent that. After all, both parties have their own, they have their own rights, I guess, right? You can go to prison for verbal abuse, but it has to be severe. And you have to have evidence, right? It would be a no contest. Yeah, he mostly is verbally abusive. Yeah, he did admit that, but that's not against the law, I don't think, in any of this Constitution. She wanted a restraining order and divorce? She did. Yeah, she did. Or that's what she's wanting. He also blamed her for having hallucinations, which was not a side effect of the meds. I think it was. I think it said the side effects were hallucinations. Yeah. I think it had a low effect of self-harm and hallucinations, didn't it? Mostly verbal when talking about their arguments. What does that say about the times it wasn't verbal? I agree with that. Like, okay, most times it doesn't make sense, but there still isn't any evidence. I don't know. That's a tough one. It said self-harm, sleepiness. Oh, God, I wish I could go back to this. I wish I could look into this. I wonder if I could redo this case. Can I redo this case? I just wanted to, like, go through it again. I want to see it all. It's tough. It really is tough. But I don't know. You just can't. I just don't think there's evidence. There isn't any evidence. Fine him? I don't think there's evidence. Yeah, I know, like, you're not, yeah. I'll say innocent, but I want to see if I can re-look at this case. I want to see if I can re-look at this case. Can I look at this case again? A survey is being conducted on how young people can be more involved in politics. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah, sure. Wouldn't be bad. Let's see. Can I go into that? You coward. I can't go back into that? What? Man, I'm gonna have to rewatch this stream now and see what the pre-trial. It's about the pre-trial, right? And what different stories is being said there. But again, I just don't know. There's not. I think what's happening is the game is not giving us the correct evidence to actually make a conclusive answer here. That's the problem. And it's also in a fictional country with, like, its own blurry visions of the law as well too. So to take fiction and reality and try to separate the two is the hardest thing to do with this game. I'm gonna have to rewatch that part. What time are we at? Okay, I'll have to rewatch that. Kobardde versus Daniel Lewis in the murder case. All right. Anyways, a murder case. Murder is what she wrote. Crime scene. let's go. Now they do have safe havens for women and children to get away. So if you give this husband innocence and she is afraid, I would highly like give her a bunch of resources to go to like safe havens for women and children, right? That's all you could really do. But you can't lock anybody up if somebody, I guess, I don't know. I just don't think verbal abuse is a prison sentence. As much as I don't agree with it, I don't think it is a prisonable offense. Unless it turns into like stalking, you know. Stalking, I don't know if that would be a connection to verbal abuse, possibly. But even stalking, I think, doesn't really come with a big punishment, at least where I live. It's a tough one. Yeah. I think there would be harsh penalties for him. And maybe that could have been like a fine. Like, I find the defendant guilty, but I'm not sending him to prison. Instead, I'm sending him to do this. You have 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 to do counseling. You have to do anger management courses. You have to do all these different things. If he's an alcoholic, maybe AA type thing. I would maybe do that. Right? But you can't, I don't think you could just throw someone in jail for that. A knife belonging to the protester who lost their life at the crime scene was found. Only the fingerprint of the victim was found on the knife. Detailed analysis of the knife revealed no traces of blood. Yeah. Hey, subscriber! Goodness gracious, that scared me. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Thank you, David. Child maltreatment is a legal crime. Yeah, but there was no evidence of that though, right? Even if someone hits you one time, it's unacceptable. I agree. But again, there was no evidence of that either. I think it's just a difference. I think it's just evidence. That's all what it comes down to, right? There's a bullet hole. All right. A bullet mark that hit the building where the incident took place was found. Examination of the bullet mark determined that the bullet was causing this mark belonged to the police officer's firearm. Now, other bullet marks were found outside the building. Very well. The army is on duty? What the heck? Many banners belonging to the protesters were found at the crime scene. The banners contain numerous political messages. The banner belonging to the deceased protester had the message "Military take action" written on it. Actually, that's not what's written on it, but that's all right. Okay. Yeah, it's well, the law book isn't really, I think the law book is bugged out, because the law book that we've looked into, they're not corresponding correctly, I don't think. I guess yeah, let's see here. I guess we could look at everything, right? Organization transports people across the border. No. Homicide. No. Penalties imposed on them. No. Property. I think we got to go lower, dude. Person or persons who obstruct the freedom of thought. No. Factory business. No. Person who endangers the lives of individuals by adding poison. No. Police officer, I think that's what we're doing now, has the authority to use firearm. A person who commits a violent crime shall be sentenced to a penalty proportional to the severity of the act and its consequences. Okay. Everyone who has the right to express and disseminate. Person who attributes to honor, dignity, and respect. No. A person who commits the crime of theft shall be sentenced. Okay. If the parties fails to comply with the employment contract, no. Person who falsely accuses someone of unlawful act through press and media, no. In the case of the fatal workplace accident, no. Cases involving allegation of violence or abuse of authority among military personnel, no. Cases involving allegation in human actions and activities are subject to procedures. No, I don't think that's what it is. Cases involving charges of treason, no. In motor vehicle driver collides, no. Property owners are affected parties, no. Prisoners may file a lawsuit in court against penalties, legality, right of prisoners of appeal, no. Any person who intentionally causes the death, no. Human trafficking. They didn't even have. Did I miss it? They didn't have anything regarding domestic violence in this law book, in this Constitution law book thing, right? Ah, frick me. There are some states where mental/emotional harm to a child is considered child abuse. I agree, but that's not what the case was about, right? The case was about, I think, the wife and the husband. If the children were involved in the case, I think that would be different, but I don't think they were. Yeah, I don't think there's no domestic violence case here. Right, pre-trial. If everything today, Linda's the only one that should have been jailed. You put him in a wheelchair, god damn it. Hey, Jessica, how are you? Hey, Miss Teddy, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome in. Okay. Show me what you got. Police officer Daniel Lewis exceeded his authority and engaged in a disproportionate intervention, resulting in the death of a citizen. It is evident that the officer abused his duty, going beyond the limits of the rights granted to our state's police force, and committed a murder. Our request is for the harshest punishment to be imposed on this heinous murder committed in the public eye. My client is a police officer who was on duty during the protest that occurred after the live broadcast attended by the Prime Minister, along with his fellow officers. He intervened when the protesters violated the laws and verbally insulted the Prime Minister. It kind of goes, well, no. During this, he came to face with one of the protesters. The person in question displayed aggressive behavior and did not comply with warnings. In the meantime, my client tried to fire his weapon into the air. Irresponsibly, you should never do that. But he had to fire to incapacitate the person because the other party approached him with a knife. And then I didn't get to read the rest. Back to the broadcast of the wheelchair thing, right? I know. Go figure. This is a messed up fictional country. Oh my god. Have a good one, Christina. Do take care. Thanks for hanging out with us too. Hope you have a good rest of your night. Verbally insulted the Prime Minister. Guilty, that is all. You will not be able to meet with individuals and institutions for 2 days. I don't think I've ever had the option to ever meet with anybody or anything like that. Not to my knowledge. The lawsuit begins. The lawsuit between Gray versus Lewis. The Prime Minister participated in a live broadcast organized by 3 television channels to answer journalists' questions. The broadcast started at 8 p.m. and, as planned in the broadcast schedule, ended at 11 p.m. At 11:12 p.m., as the Prime Minister was leaving the broadcast building, he was confronted by a group of citizens protest. For security reasons, a scuffle ensued between the citizens and demonstrators during the removal of the protesters from the scene. As a result of the scuffle, a police officer named Daniel Lewis shot a citizen named Thomas Clark with his weapon. Despite the interventions, the citizen could not be saved and lost his life at the scene. Police officer Daniel Lewis stated that the citizen had a knife and that he had to shoot the citizen in self-defense. The plaintiff, however, claims... I can't read the rest? Well, what the frick is the point of that? Okay. Do we have the right law? I don't think this is the right law. This is not the right law. This is not the right law. Frick me, dude. We still don't even have the right law. Okay, right. Who do we have here in the case file? We have the police chief, we have a building staff, student, an expert with security cam footage, police power, and duties and laws. Very well. Can't scroll? You can't scroll. I don't know why we can't scroll. Interesting. Yeah, there was something in the law book about police actions, but of course, I wish you could actually scroll through all the laws here instead of it giving you just one law. I wish you could look at all of them like you can at the office. Can I click and drag up? Let's see. No, I cannot click and drag up. Is this the same politician that got insulted? I hope so. Let's look at the evidence here. Documents. Police Powers Act. The police... Oh my gosh, that scared me. It's 4 p.m. on the West Coast now because time went backwards today. Yeah. Holy crap. Thank you, everybody that re-upped their membership today. Thank you, Fifi, for the 4 months, and Dinaron for the 4 months, Lil Bat for the 2 months, Tyler Parsons for the 23 months, Sin Robinson for the 2 months, Stacy Millard for the 11 month, Jules for the 21 months, Riley for the 7 months, Barkley for the 5 months, Sierra for the 2 months, K-Tom for the 16 months, Susie Floaty, thank you for the 7 months, Artuitus, thank you for the 8 months, Stephanie, thank you for the 7 months, and Vanilla Heart, thank you for the 11 months. The police officer must respect the fundamental human rights of the protester. Police intervention should be proportional. Excessive use of force should be avoided. Local administrative law should be, and doesn't say anything more. Police should provide warnings and instructions before intervention. Police activities should be documented whenever possible. Okay, right. Okay. Witnesses report. Let's see what witnesses have to say. Yeah, wait. Didn't it say security cam footage? I didn't see no security cam footage. It did say that, right? What exactly was the order you gave at the time of the incident? The order I gave was to intervene with the protesters. If necessary, to use pepper spray and batons. Silence! Sit down! Orders being restored. It definitely did not include a directive to shoot, Your Honor. Okay, right. Were you able to witness the incident? I couldn't... Oh God, put it down. I couldn't see the exact moment of the incident because chaos at the scene. When I heard the gunshot, I looked towards where it had happened and saw the citizen on the ground. Okay. Is there anything you would like to say about your personnel in the incident? Daniel Lewis started his duty, as he said, 7 months ago. He was a young man passionate about the police profession. He followed orders and did not engage in any undisciplined behavior. Regarding the incident, I can say this, Your Honor, I don't believe that my personnel had any intention to kill. However, if this intervention had not taken place, the deceased citizen could be sitting in the defendant's seat right now, and our deceased would have been a police officer. I mean, has a point, right? Witness Patrick Turner. Did you witness the moment when the incident occurred? Yes, sir. Oh, Thomas Clark was approaching the police officer Daniel Lewis with a knife. Okay, that's bad. You don't do that. Nobody in their right mind would do that. Nobody does that unless they're looking for trouble, right? Did police officer Daniel Lewis issue a warning during this time? The environment was in complete chaos, and there was a lot of noise. Unfortunately, I can't claim to have heard if he did. So, I can't say that he issued such a warning. I also didn't observe any body language indicating a warning. What was the distance between the police officer and the citizen before the police officer fired? Good question. Approximately 8 to 9 meters. What is that in feet? I think I can say there was a distance of about 10 steps. Does that translate? 8 to 9 meters is 10 steps?
Hey, subscriber!
Thanks for subscribing, Pops. 27 feet? 10 step. Wait a sec. 8. What the heck did he just say to me? 27 feet. So he said 27 feet, but then he said 10 steps? Okay. Okay. Aria. Yeah. Approximately 8 to 90 meters. I think I can say there was a distance of about 10 steps. I don't think 10 steps results in 27 feet, right? Unless you're like Yao Ming, maybe. And I don't even think that's... I think even that's incorrect. What would you like to say about the incident? It was extremely horrifying. The police officer fired without any hesitation. He seemed generally panicked. The environment we were in was quite chaotic. Do you think there was a situation that the police officer's life was at risk? As you can tell from the knife he had, yes, there was. Okay. Did you know Thomas Clark? No, I didn't know him. We just made eye contact a few times about 10-15 minutes before the incident, and we didn't have any conversations. Okay. It's Bigfoot. Bigfoot stepping on this. Elizabeth Reed. What is the behavior prescribed by the police duty in the authorization law for incidents of this nature? The law grants the right to use a weapon depending on the degree of force required. Sir, to put it more simply, they have the right to shoot in certain situations, but it does not authorize killing. True. The seize of the incident, the level of danger involved, and the physical intervention of the suspect or the person in question are taken into account. What should be done before using a weapon before firing? First and foremost, they should act to protect their own or others' safety. If the other person does not possess a firearm or pose a direct threat to safety, they should issue a warning to stop. The warning should be delivered in a tone that the person can clearly hear, and it should be repeated according to the distance between them. In necessary situations, while maintaining distance, they should gradually step back and issue the warning a few more times. True. Didn't they say in the pretrial that somebody, like the police officer, shot his gun in the air? The warning shot was the bullet in the building, I bet. Yeah, that's probably what it was, huh? But he shouldn't have. There, no reason to have a warning shot. Zero reason to have a warning shot. The only time you pull the trigger is to hit your target. You don't shoot in the sky. Plaintiff. The only time your hand should be on the trigger is to hit your target. Why did Thomas Clark come to the building with a knife where the Prime Minister was present? Your Honor, we cannot know this with certainty as he is no longer alive. Of course, it was wrong and against the law for him to carry a knife and not obey the police orders to stop. Okay. All right, probably the worst attorney of all time. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. However, the consequence of this, as you can appreciate, should not have been an intervention resulting in death. Well, it's hard to say because the police officer, it's not like the police officer shot the guy 10 times. He shot one time to incapacitate. Right? Not maybe necessarily to shoot to kill, but maybe to incapacitate. Anyways, what is your request related to the incident? We requested the police officer be separately punished for murder, behaving contrary to the police authorization and duty in law, and abusing his duty in accordance with the relevant articles. We request an aggravated life imprisonment sentence. I also want to inform the court that we will file a separate lawsuit to claim compensation for the victim's family from the Ministry of the Interior. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, you don't go finding, like, you don't test the waters. You don't test the waters. You know? Why would you be I never can, like, think of a situation where I'm gonna be so angry and I'm gonna charge towards a police officer with a knife. You know? I wouldn't do that. I don't know. You know, I don't know. But I think she messed up her own case. Nonetheless, what kind of behavior did Thomas Clark exhibit when you encountered him? He was chanting a highly dangerous slogan saying the army is on duty beforehand. When I tried to stop him, he drew his knife and started approaching me. This is the police officer. Okay. Did you use any warnings again when he was approaching you? Yes, Your Honor. I issued repeated warnings to stop. However, he continued to advance towards me in a frenzied state. You mentioned that you did not have the intention to kill. Why did you not make a shot aimed at injuring, and why did you fire at the left rib area, which is close to the heart? Honestly, he... Look. That's a very, very hard question to ask. By the way, thank you, Dark Princess, for the 6 months. I appreciate that. Appreciate you. Hope you are doing well. Hello, Roxanne. Good to see you as well. The distance between us had greatly decreased. It was a rapidly unfolding event, and I panicked. I could see it. It was a highly tense environment, and I had never experienced an incident with such a high level of tension before. Yeah, and so maybe not being pinpoint perfect on your accuracy could come in. After all, we're humans and not robots. I've only been on duty for 7 months. I acted in this reflex with the intention of self-defense. I had no intention of killing him. I am deeply sorry for what had happened. Yeah, you know, I mean, I think we have our decision, right? Yeah, hello, Barclay. How are you? Good to see you. That's an innocence. Yeah. I think that's innocent. Boom. You don't charge at somebody. You don't go at somebody with a knife, especially in a heated tension conflict. Somebody has a gun. They're pointing a gun at you, and you're going at them with a knife. You probably shouldn't do that. I know the 27 feet and 10 steps is very confusing indeed. I agree. There are plans to provide firearms to private security personnel for the enhanced security of the courthouse. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah, security is the top priority. Yeah, sure. They do as well. Yeah, that's true. It's harder to hit legs and arms, especially if somebody's moving, right? I agree. Case of violation of privacy of Alex Ederson and Sarah Williams. Yeah, I like this. Alex Anderson versus Sarah Williams. But we will stop right there, and we'll finish the season 2 in another stream for sure. I just want to say a special thank you to all of you for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate that. Thank you very, very much more. This season says that things are starting to get ugly. That is the caption of season 2. Season 3 will be announced later on. Honestly, things are starting to get ugly. I mean, I think the first season was a lot uglier. This one was a lot of innocence, I think, for the most part. There was a few guilties, I would say. But I think one thing that really, 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 really hurts this game entirely and as a whole is the logic. The logic in a game like this, where logic is king, is where this game is being... it's where the game is failing, unfortunately. The logic sometimes really doesn't make sense. The evidence is... there's not enough. There's not enough to actually make a determination. So it's a very... Everything is a gray area, I feel like, as we proceed more into this game. I think there needs to be a little bit more TLC in the cases, in the logic, in the witnesses, in the evidence, and stuff like that. I think the evidence needs massive upgrades for a game like this entirely. That's what I think. Yeah. Well, I'll be playing Sandrock before Coral Island release. I am not entirely sure quite yet. Possibly. But I'm not sure quite yet. I'm a little behind on my schedule right now, but yeah. I'm having fun regardless, but I do think the evidence just doesn't do it justice here in this game. But I'm sure you realize that. Nonetheless, thank you all for hanging out with me today. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday and all that. And I will see you in tomorrow's stream, which we will be going back into the Parking Tycoon-esque area and all that good stuff. All right. So thank you all, and shout out to all the people with the support and all the good vibes and stuff like that through this entire last week. So thank you for that. And I will see you all tomorrow. And do as always, take care.
She said we better off as best friends. Ooh, what's a best friend? Can you let me know what it mean to be a best friend? Got me on the next man. Here we go, better out one time for the best friends. Best friends, one time for the best. Best friends, think we better off. She think we better off as besties. I can tell her it's a different